Hello, I am Orange Cat, and this is my look back at South Park Season 22. Overall, I think this was a fairly respectable season. Like, if you compare it to recent seasons, I mean, when you have a season like a Season 20, the election year season, which was just so all over the place, with no real direction whatsoever, which highlighted the weakness of the whole serialization aspect of the show, this season's going to look amazing. And also, this is pretty comparable to last season, where you have some episodes that are brilliant, great, will be remembered for a long time, and then you have some episodes that were just kind of poorly thought out, not really fully done, as I'm gonna say in a way, or fully thought out in terms of the long term game, or even for the short term. But at the same time, this wasn't a horrible season, not by any stretch of the imagination. I say this is pretty much on par with last season, on par with maybe the few seasons before the serialization aspect of the show came in. And overall, if I had to pick winners this season, I'd have to go with the Scoots. Probably is the best episode this entire season. The whole Halloween special episode, by the way, with the whole horror aspect of the kids figuring out, hey, if we get these electronic scooters, we can do so many houses and actually go outside South Park and get candy for trick or treating. Now it turned into this disaster scenario for all the parents. I really love how that was done. I thought that was very thoroughly well done from both sides of the whole kids of all the kids independently coming up with the same exact idea and thinking that, oh, they stole it from us, and also the parents just panicking, and like the birds aspect, the Hitchcock film from the perspective of Mr. Mackey, and also the whole Kenny feeling left out thing. That was just pinnacle South Park. The type of episodes, or especially holiday type specials, South Park just needs to do in the future. And if I have to pick the weakest part of the season, I'll probably have to go with the Man Bear Pig two-parter. One, because it fully retconned the whole concept of Man Bear Pig way back when. The fact that, oh, it was completely false. Al Gore's full of hot gas. And you could talk about how, like, I think a couple of reviews said, oh, it's them atoning for them kind of blowing off Matt, Matt Stone and Trey Parker blowing off global warming in the past, and how it's come now and how they believe it's like a big deal now. But at the same time, if you're going within the lore of the show, especially considering that Man Bear Pig appears in Imagination Land, and having Al Gore not realize the fact that he's in Imagination Land because he's not real, them just not getting that. At the same time, you're retconning a lot of that. It's just I just in general hate retconning, even if it is for a good cause in a way, like how this episode that part really was. And also, I kind of didn't like how the whole concept of Man Bear Pig being there because the old people made a deal for cars and ice cream. Like, I get the cars part, really homed in on something like the whole, oh, global warming, so cars and all this like industrial thing, like these mills to help the town grow when it was a small town, and how it's boomed as a town recently. Or go really meta and do something like, oh, we made something that made it so that no one's gonna age. Like, yeah, like pop culture and life is going on around us. Like early on in the show, you had like jokes about Bill Clinton being president back in the late '90s, and now we have Mr. Garrison being president, albeit being arrested, as you see in the season finale of this show, and have it like, oh, this town never ages. The town looks generally the same unless it's plot driven, like the whole Soda Sopa or Sitipa Town, stuff like that. And that would have been a great way to just be meta and connect the show in this way, and to provide kind of a tongue-in-cheek explanation for that. That would have been a fun, good idea to do, but it just felt kind of cheaped out. Albeit, I did kind of like how they ended that episode with the whole there is no climactic ending, because how we keep pushing stuff back about how we keep, okay, we're gonna cut back on fossil fuels later and all this stuff, so on and so forth, but we never really do. But yeah, in general, this was a okay season. If I have to give the season like a number, like out of 10, I would give it a 7, maybe a 7.5 out of 10. Other episodes are notable. It was another season that opened with a weak episode, Dead Kids, about school shootings. One, it wasn't necessarily as topical, considering that at that time and even till now we haven't had like a major someone stormed the school and shot up the school since I believe March, which of course is too much too often, but it wasn't as topical if they did it maybe a week or two after Parkland, but South Park only runs episodes in the fall. And if they did the old format, how they did for a while, would have like 7 episodes in spring, 7 episodes in fall, I believe that's something they would have addressed sometime in that spring season. So, and again, that's part of the curse of South Park now airing only one block of the year. You have to cover 8, 9 months of pop culture stuff that happened in one episode for the first episode of the season. And they tried doing that the white people renovating houses to start season 21 and failed. Like, okay, we want to cover Charlottesville, but we also want to cover all these like HGTV shows of like white people renovating houses. We're trying to connect them, but we don't know how to really do this. And we're throwing in all these other references, like the whole Google Home and Alexa thing they threw in that episode too, and it just felt so garbled that they clearly had no idea what they wanted to do or how they wanted to cover these events that happened in the previous year. And also that's what came out this season too. Like, also they were like, "Oh, we want to cover Black Panther," and they kind of made that a reoccurring theme this season, which was weird. How Cartman a couple times mentioned Black Panther, and it was a dead joke. Like already the first second time he made it with Token, be like, "You're black. You're supposed to like Black Panther." Like, and that got tired quick, in my opinion. Another episode I think will kind of stand the test of time in a way is the first Tegrity Farms episode, the one about vaping. I just love it's just an episode of love. Like, although the weed jokes kind of got stale later on in the season, I just love Tally being back. I love how he is now more or less not really a main character, but like a protagonist in a way. Like, he's on the side of the Marshes. He helps out Randy Marsh. I want to see Tally take on this role where it's like he's cut the hard stuff. He's just about weed, which is fine now considering it's legal in many places, especially Colorado, which I believe was the first state to legalize it. I just want to see him in that role. Maybe see Washcloth. Maybe see Rebecca. What I forgot the name of his girlfriend that gave birth to his child Washcloth. I want to see more of that, and I want to see Tally kind of actually be a little mature for now, which would be a good character arc to have, especially considering the first time he appeared, he came off as this one note, "You want to get high?" type character. And I just like to see like the bits of development he got just seems so weird way natural considering what he went through in Crippled Summer with him getting over his drug addictions. It's just fun to see Tally like this. Also, just like Randy coming in, beating up people to Two Princes by the Spin Doctors with the weed hat that the lead singer, I forgot his name right off the bat, from Spin Doctors wore in the music video to Two Princes. A music video, by the way. You should check it out if you really want to. But yeah, like you're not gonna think of too many bad stuff this season. Like there's no like hit episode you could point out and be like, this episode was beyond garbage. This episode should have never existed. Like even the Man Bear Pig wasn't that bad. And you get like an episode like Integrity Farms. You get an episode like The Scoots, which were just great, well done episodes. Like last season, like trying to compare this season to last season, so that were pretty equal overall in quality. You have something like Put It Down, which was an amazing episode last season. The one about Mr. Garrison's tweeting about Tweak making cupcakes from North Korea. Like, yeah, you probably shit in the batter. I remember dying the first time I saw that joke, especially how they have Garrison's face kind of look like Trump's profile picture on Twitter. And it's like, yeah, I wouldn't trust it. He's a little shit. Probably took a shit in the batter. I'm just sorry. That's just a funny joke to me. Really, I don't have much more to say rather than just very comparable to last season. Definitely a step above season 20 and even season 19, the two really serialized seasons. I kind of like how they tied stuff together at the end without trying to make that one giant like just have a reference of, oh, let's lose electronic scooters or Cartman getting pissed. He talks about shooting up the school. Like small little things like that, rather than just like something like season 19 where they really did this weird advertising thing where PC Principal was an advertisement the whole time and really trying to make every episode part of the plot in this weird way. Eh, but this season, how they did it wasn't too obsessive. I liked how they generally did that, although some parts of that episode I wasn't really a fan of. But at the same time, decent season. Is it among the best? No. Is it among the worst? No. I don't rank all 22 seasons, so I'm not gonna say, oh, it's like the 11th best season of the whole show, but you know, I got what I came in expecting for this season, which wasn't bad. I have somewhat high expectations for South Park, a show that in 20 something years, let's just say it stayed fresh over 20 years better than The Simpsons have, and better than Family Guy has, you know. And that's just something fun to watch, the show how it grows over time. And really, I think the show still has, although I've said a few times during the season, I think it's starting to really age out a bit. It's starting to get a little stale. I still think it's got a couple really good potential seasons ahead of it. Although I'll definitely recommend against them having the show for like a season 30 by that point. I don't think there'll be much more magic left in the tank by then. And this is still dependent on whether Matt Stone or Trey Parker want to do it, since how Comedy Central's approached it, it looks like they're very they're very insistent just letting those two just let them make the show as long as they want to and to keep it on Comedy Central. Considering if you really look at the ratings, it's still the bell cow for the network. Like the Daily Show is doing okay, but it's not doing the numbers it did back with Jon Stewart. They're struggling with the 11:30 slot to the point where they just put a rerun of The Office. And also, BoJack Horseman really hasn't gotten good rate. Actually, it's gotten poor ratings, I believe, at the slot after South Park. They give a massive drop off in ratings afterward. Tosh Burnett is still doing decent, but not like the best of ratings. And again, I think that's a scenario where it's gonna be as long as Daniel Tosh wants to make the show. Really, Comedy Central, this is the bell cow. It was the bell cow for them in the late '90s. It's the bell cow throughout the 2000s, and it's still the bell cow as we approach 2020. And yeah, that's all I really have to say about the show. I'm Orange Cat. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And that is all.